Okay, it is 9:46. I just got out of a trade with TGGI, and this one can work out eventually, but I don't like how we have a big seller at 11.9 with hidden size, and then another big seller just showed up at 11.9, and then we have this almost 2 million share seller that showed up at 12, and it hasn't even had any shares taken out because we have just been stuck at 11.9. I got in this because it looked like a morning panic bounce play. It dropped from this 11.3 level and it got as low as this 11.6. Did I say 11.3? I'm at 13 and it got as low as 11.6. It looks like it's doing it now, but that is a really, really bullcrap way to have done it. But I'm glad it's going to at least in theory work out now that we might try to take out 12. But I did get in at 937, 15,000 shares, and that was at, it wasn't 11.8, it was 11.75 right here, right around here is when I got in. And essentially, I was going to get out if it was going to break 11.6, especially once it started the uptrend and then trade around this level right here. And then eventually, damn, that is so stupid. Wow. That is some stupid price action. It sucks that I missed out now that it's breaking past 12, but that was such a bull crap way to break 11.9. But I'm glad I did it. At least, I'm not trading setups that don't work. It's just this one was ugly the way it traded, but I liked it because it looked very clean and everything, and it did have like a recent run up too, so it's not something completely random. I sold 5,000 shares at 11.9. It wasn't really 11.9. It was at 11.8 and a half at 9:43. Right here is when I sold some of my position because it was just taking too long and the price action wasn't looking too good. And then when it looked like we were going to actually start taking out the 11.8 support, I decided to sell the rest of my position. And this was actually at 11.8. I sold 10,000 shares at 9:45. Yeah, right before it started the workout. That's crazy. That's super bad timing. When something really lame like that happens, I just taking into consideration that the chance that it can happen again is really low. So that's the best way I can look at it. And it really did look like it was going to downtrend, but I guess eventually those big stubborn sellers got out of the way at 11.9, and then that one at 12, but that one wasn't like with hidden size. It looks like it was genuinely close to 2 million shares. I'll make an update as to what this one does later. There isn't really anything else that I'm too interested in, but I haven't been looking too much either because I've been seeing TGGI. This looks a bit weird. I'll make an update later, especially if I trade something, and definitely what TGGI does over a longer period of time. Okay, it is 10:11. Let's go over another trade that I had that worked better. This was HMBL. Not the most impressive daily chart, but I do like how it had a lot of volume right here. There was a panic today and there was a significant amount of volume, so that I thought that it wiped out a lot of sellers and maybe it can try to offer a bounce, and who knows, it might continue the downtrend over a longer period of time, or it might try to reverse. It could do anything, honestly. But I just thought that after having such a drop with this amount of volume, it could try to bounce. So I did consider this one, and I did buy. I bought 5,000 shares at 272, and that was at 959. So that was right around here at 272. A little nerve-wracking because I had this downtrending trend line, and it did break above it, but it was just floating above it. And sometimes when it kind of gets above the trend line like this and it's just trading back and forth with not much volume, but then it might just have some selling price action and then it tries to get back under the trend line. And that was my biggest fear. And I thought, worst case scenario, I'll be cutting the trade if it gets below this 265 level, and I'm in at 272. And it did work out. Not the best volume, but it did continue to uptrend, and it did follow this trend line that I made a bit later. And I sold my last piece, 2,000 shares at 284, which is the goal, always to sell at VWAP. So I'm pretty happy with that, even if it goes to like 32 and a half. That's just always my goal, to sell at VWAP, even if it gets higher. And maybe if I keep getting setups that work very often, um, and no voice cracks, I might be able to sell and maybe try to go for something higher than VWAP. But let's just go over my sells. I did sell 1,000 shares at 276 at 10:04. and that was right when it was starting to work a little bit, just a little bit of a sell just in case it might not really do that much more, maybe just has a blip and it sells off. And then we started the trade in this channel for a little bit. I did sell 2,000 shares at 10.04 right here, 1,000 shares at, it wasn't 278, I think it was 277 and a half. And then that second sell was at 10.07. And then I was able to sell the last piece, which was 2,000 shares out of the 5,000 shares at 10.09, which was at this 284 level. And it can continue the option later. There's a big sell, not a big seller, but a big bidder at 28. That could try to hold it, and then it can continue to push further and maybe get into the 29s, but that's totally fine. As for TGGI, this one had an uptrend. It got as high as 127, but the volume wasn't really there, and realistically, maybe I would have gotten to sell at 121 or 122 with the way it was trading. Just a bit of a spread and, a lack of volume, but yeah, this one just really sucked that I sold right before it started to actually uptrend, and I was selling right when it was breaking below this 11.8 and a half level, and it was taking out the people at 11.8. And I guess somebody just jumped in and saved it or something, but that is the situation with that. Much happier with HMBL the way I traded, especially because I still sold almost half of my position at my goal of VWAP. I didn't just like sell everything into this little channel and just have 500 shares here. That was a lot better than the other trade. I'll make an update later, but this is what I have for right now. Okay, it is 9:59 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on a day just $4.90, and the first trade with TGGI was a morning panic bounce play. HMBL was the other one, and I was looking. In theory, I should have had maybe more shares on these setups to have had a proper $40 risk level, and I would have been slightly more profitable. And I was also looking at HMBL, perhaps with more experience. This was a trade right here. I thought worst case scenario, the thing would have dropped to 21. For example, if I were to have put that I sold at 21, right, that would have been accordingly to this, attempt at worst case scenario. Again, it should have been more shares here, but it seems like maybe with more experience over a longer period of time, perhaps maybe the actual bottom we could have been, maybe this 24 level. So if 24 was the worst case scenario, right, then I would have had to have needed to have traded, a lot more size, maybe not that much, but yeah, I definitely want to see what I can continue to do to get better and be much more profitable. Really sucks with TGGI that this one started to work right after I got out, but that's too bad. And then HMBL, this was not something I would have considered trading because it just doesn't have a nice daily chart to support something like this. But this was a pretty impressive break past this level right here at 29, and then it got as high as the 37 level, which is huge in terms of percent difference. And then it had a sell off back to pretty much near the same range under the 3 cent level. And TGGI didn't do much more, and some of these other ones didn't really do anything too crazy. IOUS did continue the downtrend. Very, very excessive looking downtrend right here. It almost looks like, like an ascending triangle setup that just failed. Pretty big sell-off. I'll be watching if it can do maybe another follow-up panic in the morning tomorrow, and then that could be a dip buy setup if it offers the opportunity. That's pretty much about it. There wasn't anything else that I'm too interested in, but TXTM is having a second green day, so I will be watching that for a morning panic bounce play, a dip and rip, or maybe it like breaks the high right here, which is going to be 88 in the morning, and then it continues to have a morning spike. That's all I have for today. I could have been more profitable with TGGI and HMBL. I did the best that I could have, but maybe I needed to have traded more shares with that.